Stephen A., brother, if you are watching this show right now, though I win just about every debate and have won just about every debate since I joined the show almost a year ago, boy, this one you had pegged right from the beginning. So right, especially as it relates to Jerry Jones. This is insane. This is nauseating. Do they save each other's seats in the lunchroom? I mean, like, what is this teen beat nonsense that Jerry Jones is doing? This is unbelievable. This is bad for Dak Prescott, your rookie quarterback, who looked like a future champion as a rookie, who looked like he might even win the whole thing as a rookie. Your franchise is finally headed in the right direction. Probably Jerry Jones, in spite of you, probably as Steven got more, it seems to me there's a strong positive correlation. Stephen Jones gets more say. The fortunes of the Dallas Cowboys rise. They start drafting offensive linemen in the first round year after year and making those avoiding Johnny Manziel, making those kinds of wise, Jerry Jones type decisions. But this has Jerry Jones written all over it, and it is just terrible. I mean,
it's kind of only a story because of Jerry Jones.
Stephen A's got it the whole time.
I wish I could channel my inner Stephen A. and hit you with some big words or something. I don't know. I don't have any off the top of my head. The gall, the unmitigated temerity of Jerry Jones is a problem. But I don't think it's actually Jerry's fault. I think that when you're on a team, the equipment guys kind of make these decisions, and no one would ever give away an all-time greats number the following year. So we can throw that out of the conversation altogether. The idea of preserving his locker, like, I find it hard to believe.
Who's an all-time great?
Well, Romo is definitely an all-time great for that team. Whether you want to believe it or not, he's one of the best. He was, at his peak, one of the best quarterbacks in that team's history, and that makes him significant. So you don't give away, you can look around for all other teams. When you have a good player who retires, you don't give away their number immediately, and maybe you never do. Maybe it gets retired. I'm fine with Romo's number getting retired. He was that important to that team. But where there's a problem is the idea of preserving the locker. Because during training camp, you bring in hundreds of players, and you need all the lockers that you can get. So I have a hard time believing that Jerry Jones has made a call down to the equipment guys and said, hey, don't fill his locker. But if that's what happened, that's a definite problem. You need to let go. You need to move on. I would hate to use like a cliche relationship analogy, but it is over. Your boyfriend has moved on and found a new job. He no longer needs to be there with you, Jerry Jones, so let it go.
Dominique.
And it's not like Dak Prescott is bad. Dak Prescott is great. Anything that would be a distraction to Dak Prescott's maturation, his comfort level, his development, and his performance is a mistake. And if this has become a big enough story, find some low on the depth chart guy, throw him in the locker right now so that Dak Prescott doesn't have to answer these questions.
Dominique, his position in Cowboys history. Look, once upon a time, Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback, that's the number one glamour spot in American sports, right? I mean, that's how it is. Once upon a time, it was the point guard for the Lakers or the center for the Lakers or the center fielder for the New York Yankees. And there was a guy who was supposed to be the next Mickey Mantle, played for the Yankees decades ago, who turned out to be only a five-time All-Star, the late, very good Bobby Mercer. And had he left the Yankees or retired, and they saved his locker and everything, people would be looking at it sideways. Well, he's one of the all-stars on the team. Tony Romo is basically Bobby Mercer. He's a very good but not great player, playing a glamour position for a glamour team, did not have a lot of playoff success, was never really considered one of the top five, never really in that Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, upper echelon category, and in fact, not always considered in the category right beneath with Ben Roethlisberger and some others.
He was
a
that
very
good
player.
He was
with
that
limited
good.
playoff success.
Always a baseball analogy for everything.
Yes,
he wasn't that good. He was very
that
good. He wasn't great.
And we talked earlier about how football is so dependent on so many other people. You're telling me that Tony Romo isn't talented enough? Despite them not winning a Super Bowl, he's not talented enough to win a Super Bowl? Obviously, he's a good enough quarterback to win a Super Bowl in the right situation. Just because he didn't doesn't mean that he's not good. And I mean, I'm sick, just like Molly is, of all your baseball talk. No one cares about the Yankees. Jay-Z made the hat more famous anyway. So we can move on from the Yankees.
Everyone cares about the Yankees.
And talk
the economy
more
of
about
Major
what we're
League
talking
Baseball
about right now.
is 2/3 of the economy of the NFL. and bigger than the economy of an NBA. How dare you?
All right.
But I will say
All
this.
I know
Exactly.
is,
That's all
Are
we're
you
talking
actually
about.
sitting there saying
Can
a lot of...
I need to add one thing, though.
Are
If
you
I'm Dak
all
Prescott
right, go
and
ahead.
I'm walking by that locker every day, that is just more fuel for me to want to go out and ball, seeing the Tony Romo locker still there.
Yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott performed under a much bigger degree of pressure with Tony Romo actually physically looking over his shoulder last year. So I think it's unlikely that this is going to impact him in a negative way. All in all, it's probably just good theater for much like the Yankees, the Cowboys are all about show.
Domonique. Now you're referencing the Yankees. I just want to get this straight. Are you arguing that Tony Romo should have special consideration because he's a quarterback who could have won a Super Bowl? He was good enough. There are many quarterbacks who are good enough to win a Super Bowl. Many of them don't. Tony Romo's one of those guys who's good enough but didn't, like most of them are.
Max, let me introduce you to a concept. It's called consistency. I am saying that titles do not define how good a player is in my mind. So I've watched Tony Romo play. I've played against Tony Romo. I've practiced against Tony Romo. I think Tony Romo is a tremendous quarterback, and that's where he is in my mind. I don't need him to win a bunch of Super Bowls for me to say whether he is better or worse than quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls. Once you start doing that Super Bowl counting thing, you get yourself caught up, or championship counting thing, you get yourself caught up in semantics where you can lose. I let my eyeballs, in my experience in sports, decide what I think about players. This is called consistency. I would like to introduce you to it. Say hello. Congratulations.
Two things. One, his regular season play also puts him lower than the absolute elite. That's one. And two, while you may have faced him on the football field, I used to use him in EA Sports. Madden,
okay. I'm sorry.
Right?
I take it back.
So I think it's like even.
I take it back. You're the expert.
I think our experience is like even.
Yeah, guaranteed. You're the expert. I'm sorry.